Well, you are the seducer seduced. That's what it says here.
Yeah.
This guy.
You know, I almost called
Yeah.
when I was first writing this book, the name of it was Almost. And I thought about it for like quite a while. The name of it before Alabaster Girl was Seducer Seduced. That phrase, seducer seduced. The essence is the seducer is the one really being seduced.
Yeah.
And I wrote in there, Yeats' poem about how can we tell the dancer from the dance? Are we the seducer or the seduced? It's the same thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Seducer, seduced. He's not the seducer. He is seduced, and it's all the same thing. The dancer and the dance are the same thing.
Yeah.
They can't exist without each other.
Yeah.
And I wrote it in there that way. It's like, to me, that's exactly what it is. There is no distinction between the seducer and the life of being seduced.
And it says here too, the seduction leads a holy crusade against the creeping compromise of mediocrity. So by continuing to be seduced like that, you are essentially negating that mediocrity.
You're casting aside mediocrity and saying, I don't know. This serves me in no way. I don't want that. I want to be seduced. I want to have a life that I'm full of me being seduced. That makes you automatically seductive. You're automatically a seducer. There's no attempt to be a seducer. I mean, this is quite philosophical, but it feels right, and I'm trying to put words around it.
So you talk about mediocrity in the ways that a lot of men will approach a one-night stand, the pickup artist, the one-night cowboy, as you call it, and it's like it's a mediocre encounter, a mediocre result, doesn't leave any important legacy in either one's life. And the seduction isn't about being seduced. The seduction is, I want to have my interest met with this person over here. It's the way I understand it.
Yes, I'm not quite understanding.
And it seems like what you're saying is
that
seduction, if the seduction is true and it comes from the heart and it is a pure thing, a thing of life, then it's impossible to seduce without being seduced.
Exactly.
It's like the two things cannot operate in independence.
It cannot. They are the same thing. It's exactly correct. That's exactly what you guys are saying.
So what it comes to me as right now is that to learn the art of seduction and to become a wonderful lover of women is not about how can I learn all these ideas from the book or from the video that we're talking about right now and then apply them with women to try and get a fixed result.
Yeah.
It's much more like okay, so I'm a man on an adventure and I'm going through my life and I'm really diligently working for my goal, my personal hero's journey. And over there's a woman, she's beautiful, feel something here. The seduction is something like, am I willing to allow myself to be led astray from my righteous path and go and talk to that girl over there?
Yeah, it's a willingness to be seduced. That is exactly what it is. If you're willing to that sounds so abstract. Try and put it in practical terms is difficult, I mean, I get that you guys understand what we're talking about here. You feel it. And it's hard to paint a picture of it. But it really is, and that's why these great lovers of history, all of them said, well, wait a minute, it isn't me. I'm not doing anything. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Right? It's the wind. What am I supposed to do in the presence of this?
Yeah.
Of this glory? What am I supposed to do? I'm helpless.
So seduction is less about doing extra stuff that you've been doing so far. It's like, actually, I've been holding myself back from saying that thing or staying an extra minute or making that joke or inviting relentlessly, ridiculously.
Yeah.
It's actually just allowing that nature to come through and do what it's inspired to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. It's a stripping away, not adding things.
For sure. It's a simplicity in it, man. Simplicity. And guys saying, that's too easy. That doesn't work.
Getting out of the way for nature to take its course.
Right.
Yeah.
Getting out of your head.
I've
going into your body.
I've had muses in my life. you know, from time to time. I can speak with women, but then there's another woman that comes along, and for some reason I'm on the phone to her for 2 hours, and I'm like, why am I on the phone to this girl for 2 hours when I haven't done that since I was 15 years old, and I'm here and I'm here and I'm here. And it's like I'm sucked into this vortex and there's no way out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting because I think people are...
I have nothing more to say.
Yeah,
That's it, huh?
That's it.
I guess
You got
people think of you know, whatever you call it, seducer or lover of women, as being this really powerful person that knows what to say, whereas it seems like you're flipping it and saying it actually comes from a position of weakness. Of, you know, you're so incredible, so beautiful that I'm just kind of drawn towards you because of you.
But without the requisite sense of gravity, and we
Yeah.
talked about that core seduction of ourselves, you're just a nice guy who's kissing
Yeah.
ass and following a girl around like a little lapdog.
Yes.
I'm helpless and I don't know what else to do, and I'm texting you 10 times a day. And,
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, everything I say can be taken out of context here and applied in some way. And we said it before, you mentioned it, but all these little things we're talking about here, which are really monumental things, all these things taken by themselves and taken out of context
Yeah.
might make a guy a nice guy.
Yeah.
Or the sexual things might make him an aggressive, creepy guy. But you put it all together, and you have this whole fabric of this aliveness, this tapestry that's created, which is mesmerizing to all women, and mesmerizing to men as well.
I think there's a point in the book I highlighted, and it segues quite nicely. You talk about the idea of people saying like the prize. I think most men start out as like the women as a prize you put on a pedestal, and this idea of, oh, she's so incredible, and behind that is all the beauty and authenticity. But for her, it's kind of the weakness, it's a needy energy. And what a lot of men do is they flip from that and go, right, I'm going to be the prize now. It's going to be the woman below me, and she's going to
I'm going to
impress
knock
me.
her down.
And at first, like, yeah, that might get you more intrigue, but it's like, well, how am I when I'm kind of below and really need around a woman? It feels really bad. Why would I want a woman to be in that space as well? It should be both. And I guess if you put the woman, anyone above you, you objectify them.
Yeah.
You say, you're this amazing thing, how lowly me can be there.
Yeah.
And you put someone below you, you objectify them as well. Like, oh, you're just there to impress me, meet my needs. If you have that equality, then you're not objectifying people, you're on the same level, you're being real with each other.
Yeah. And that's
that
a
balance.
perfect way of saying it, because it is on the same level.
Mm.
You're not looking up to her as someone that can bring you happiness or make your weekend or your life fulfilled
Yeah.
or look good for your buddies. That's putting a woman on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And it's not knocking her down so that you can artificially elevate yourself in her eyes somehow. It's not like trying to pick away at her so that she feels insecure about herself. It's an elevation of both of you. That's the whole point. You're putting you both on a pedestal because this is cool. Can you see where we are? Eye to eye. That's why I've always said, like in a great relationship like that, it's not the two of you staring at each other. It's the two of you against the world. And we're holding hands and we're going in the same direction.
I think society, we talk about the objectification of women. It's in the spirit of, just sexual objects to please men. It's objectification is just a thing when men think they're above women. But equally, if men are putting women above them, it's still an objectification because you can't relate.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you're both together on this level. It's a shared experience. It's not this power game of
That's the
you can
battle.
impress me or I can impress you. It's like, no, we're both together.
That's the battle of the sexes.
Yeah.
And and who's going to come out on top, and who's stronger, and who's going to wait for the phone longer. And, right. And I texted her, she didn't text back for 3 hours, so that means something. All these layers in there.
It's about power. Yeah.
It's about power and who's going to say it first and who's the needy one. And instead, the true lover of women just says, I'm not interested in any of this.
Yeah.
And she can feel it too. And he wipes it away with his hand like this and says, let's have a different experience.
Yeah.
Because this is how I'm going to see you and this is how I'm going to see myself. And we're on a pedestal together. Do you feel that? Do you feel it? I do. This is good stuff. Guys. This is powerful stuff.
This is big.
Yeah, and that's you do that by painting that picture for her.
Yes. Yeah, because women are
It's asking for what you
women
want
got their
in that
hazy, opaque views of the world too, because they've been hurt and their job sucks, their life is boring, all these things, and they've got this like a pessimism that floats around too. And your job is just to clear a bit of that. You're not actually fixing her in any way or create, you're not her savior.
Yeah.
But you're just saying, look, like this, if we clear this away, imagine the possibilities. Imagine how far you can see. And she can, that's all you're doing, and she just feels that too and says, hey, I do want to look in that direction. And if you get that happening, instead of look at me, girl, look at me, I'm knocking you down and I'm on the pedestal and kiss my ass. That, you know what I mean?
This passage explains it beautifully. Women don't need saving. They simply want to be in the presence of men who see them as equals, who see them as lovely, and who are authentic, who represent something, anything. And I mean that sums it up beautifully. You know, that it's just they want to be treated as equals, and they want to be seen as beautiful.
Perfect.
I'm tuning out a bit. I want to go to the coffee shop and go and talk to the girl. Inspired, yeah. I got to get out of this.
Don't forget to pay for your coffee.
Yeah, I want to tell this story. We were doing some coaching in a restaurant, and we go until about 11 o'clock at night, giving each other feedback between guys. You know, this is the culture that we want to create, helping you to see your blind spots and so on in a constructive way. And we get to him at the end, and we've just been, you know, saying we want to feel your masculine edge. Don't feel any of your power or your lower energy. We want to hear what you want, because you're sat here nodding all the time. And he got really angry. And as he got angry, like, just stayed with him and was like, oh, wow, he's getting angry. I haven't seen this side of him before.
Now we got something.
Now it turned into power, and he told us all to piss off, and he left the building. He was like, screw you guys, I'm going to the street and going to talk to girls. Stormed out of the restaurant, didn't pay the bill. We'd never seen so much direction and power from this
He showed up.
skinny guy.
He showed up.
Yeah, he tapped into his raw power and what he wanted instead.
It's incredible.
Go and chat to some girls. See you later.
Here's one curious line you've got here. You say, I can see things as if I'm floating above. I'm always aware of the climate of the situation, which way the prevailing winds are about to blow. I can sense the relative positioning and movement of all the people and elements in a room. I can see it all like it's in slow motion. I can see how things are likely to unfold, as in a game of chess, where one can see several moves ahead. Sounds like a dream scenario for every single confused man or woman who ever goes into a club and thinks, wow, how am I going to meet someone tonight? I want to know what that's like, and how you got there, and if actually that's a bit too much sometimes.
You know, I do get a strong sense of that, because, and I think it's just because I've been in a myriad of situations that are just like this situation. If I'm at a party, I've had the same kind of flow somewhere in my life, right? If I'm at a bar, I get a sense of, I get a sense of who likes who, of who's trying something, of who's positioning themselves by wandering over into the direction that so and so is going to eventually walk. I get a sense of it. I can feel all the, like, yeah, I can feel the way the room, like a house party, for instance. I kind of know where everybody is at every moment. Even if I'm talking to you guys and laughing, joking, I know what's happening over there. I know who's in the kitchen. I know why they're in the kitchen. I know who's going to eventually come out here, and who likes Owen is going to kind of have a round over there. I get a sense of it.
So we said before that you've got this sense, and it's kind of like an Aborigine in the desert who spent 40 years completely alone and isolated and can smell where water is coming from at a distance of 40 miles. But it's like the guy who wants to pick up on
smell
this...
the woman. 40 miles.
But it's like you've got this intuition or this felt sense.
Yeah.
But what is especially helpful to someone who wants to know how this works, what are the concrete signs that we can follow to tune into the dynamics of a room or a party?
No clue. I have no idea.
Is it just years of learning?
It's
and paying
just
attention?
intuition. It's just years of sitting in moments where I'm confused and making assumptions, thinking one thing but maybe not, and then asking the girl.
Oh.
So, you know, I thought at that party that no. I was really, and all those little kind of like light bulb moments just kind of stack into a kind of an intuition.
Wow.
So is there any specific thing I can single out? Not really.
You said a cool
I can
one.
invent some stuff, but
Yeah.
You said a cool one to me before, which is, say you're at a dinner party, there are 10 or 12 people sat around.
Yeah.
You can tell who likes who, because if there's uproar and everyone starts laughing at the same time, the guy who likes the girl will look at the girl in that moment
Yeah.
and just see what her reaction is to the
watch
the
someone
communal joke.
when someone tells a joke, you can watch who looks at who, because if this is a girl and
Yeah.
we're all laughing and he likes her, he looks at her to see how largely she is laughing, how she's responding.
Are they on the same page? Are
That's
they
an-
both
yeah,
in sync?
yeah.
That's an unconscious thing.
Unconscious.
Yeah.
He might not have talked to her all evening, and he might be ignoring her, but he'll glance and see and get us. You know what I mean? He won't be staring at her to see how she's laughing, but he'll be checking in. Oh, okay, she likes the joke too. I like it really now. That's generalizing. But there's things like that. That's a concrete thing that you kind of pick up on, and you just get a sense of it. Where does it come from? I don't know. Intuition.
I want to know more.
Me
Yeah.
More little keys for dinner parties.
So the greatest
The girl
way-
gives you her hotel keys. Might mean she wants to maybe go for coffee or something.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's the greatest way to learn about it is to choose to tune into it.
Yeah, there you go. Like, I'm not saying it's an easy thing to pick up this intuition and gain in a weekend. You know what I learned over years and years and years and years. But you can certainly become aware where you weren't before, that these things are flying through the air. These kind of like signals, and women are always putting on signals. Always, and it might be the signal is like, I'm happy, don't come talk to me. But it's always a signal coming out there, right? And when you start to pick up on those things, you get a feel for it and a flow of it. Yeah, but it's an awareness of it, and when a guy becomes aware of it, and he starts to just be in a party and try and guess what's happening. Hey, what is happening here? How is it going to move? And you start to learn.
And then ask as well. I mean,
I asked.
Initially, just
I asked a bunch of questions, like
Yeah.
for years and years, I want to know. Like you were sitting with that guy talking for half an hour, and I didn't talk to you after because I thought you really liked him. No, I couldn't escape him. I didn't want to be mean. He was like talking my ear off, and I wanted to come. You don't know these things, and most guys go, I had no clue.
yeah.
And so you get a sense of it. I get it. I kind of feel what's going on
Yeah.
there.
Do you like having that kind of knowledge or intuition, or is there any drawback?
Yeah.
Good question.
Because it's all, you watch the superheroes in the movies. Someone's got X-ray vision. He's like, just for tonight, I wish I couldn't see the truth. That means I have more responsibility somehow.
Yeah, because I wrote in the book something like that, where I said, that there's such a knowledge gain from all this social interaction that a girl who's, 25 years old, you've talked to other 25-year-olds from the same culture, for instance, or the same background, or the same, and you get a sense of if she's playing a game, or what she's really trying to say, and you get I'll say this, you get a sense that you could construct a scenario because she likes you and you like her, and maybe you could construct a scenario knowing what you know about her to get her in your bed, for instance, and you can do it. You know it. You can do that, and there's something in that. And there's something that gets a little lost in that kind of like innocence and not knowing, which is kind of like I remember coming out of a girl's house one time when I was young, and I went to visit her, and just in the afternoon, and she said, "Well, come over by my house and we'll have a tea or coffee." So I went there, and I really liked this girl, and I remember she being so nice to me, and I thought, but she's out of my league. This girl's out of my league, and like I was all nervous. And I remember she said, "You know what? I really had a nice time. I want to see you again. I like you." Right? And I remember I walked out of her house, walking to my car, and I'm thinking, wow, I didn't know it, But she said it, and I jumped in there and clicked my heels like they do in a movie. And I was like, yeah, and I got to my car and turned around, she's watching me out the window. I was totally embarrassed. Like, because I'm trying to be cool, right?
Yeah.
Get in my car, like. But that feeling of not knowing, and then you you get the delight of knowing.
Yeah, right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's, yeah. Because I don't have that anymore. I already know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Right.
Yeah.
And it sounds like from your story that you use that intuition for what women to talk to. Like a lot of men that look around an environment, they go, I'm attracted to her. They try and find a way to talk to them.
Yeah.
But you already know who's attracted to who's with who's single, who's not. You see that from afar, and then you only go, I think you said, when you're invited.
And who's my type?
Yes. Yeah.
Because this girl might be really pretty and stuff like that, but I get a sense from her that she's not my type, and I might not be her type.
Yeah.
That's why, this approaching a ton of girls is like cold calling in sales. It's like tapping them on the shoulder, do you like me? Do you like me?
Yeah.
And it's checking in and it's a numbers game. And for me, it's like, and it's that strong in me that I can be at a party or somewhere, and I can see a girl, and I instantly think, that's totally my type of girl. I get it.
Yeah.
And she's gonna like me. I can feel it.
Mm.
Not because I'm this great guy.
Yeah.
But because I can see that is the type of girl who has a spirit, and the way she moves and stuff, and I don't hide it. I'm all the girls here, like I'm seeing all these pretty girls, but there's something about you that I saw from over there, and I really like it. You. And she could feel that too.
Does this knowledge and experience of women mean that you don't get in your stretch zone when it comes to your heart and what's at stake at this point in your life?
Wow. I don't know how to answer that. I don't know. What does that mean, like, exactly? Like, do I feel vulnerable?
I mean, there's a lot of metaphors about being awash in the land of women in the high seas, where it's waves and tumultuous. And in my experience, I get that a lot currently. I meet women who challenge me right to the edge, and I don't know if I'm going to sink or swim.
Yeah.
And it's can't sleep at night type stuff that is reminiscent of being a teenager. And it's drives me to distraction, but I love it. It's fully alive.
Oh, yeah.
And I wonder if that's gone for you.
That's kind of a great question. So I wonder too. I would love. Yeah. No. Yeah, I think so. So that, that's what this guy's discovery is. You get all these years of becoming the seducer and going down this path. And he's like, what has it all been worth? There's no regret in that though. It's like there's a calm knowing, and I have, like, as you guys know, I have a lovely girlfriend I've been with for 3 years, and I adore her, and I miss her when she's not around. You guys know that. She's not around for 4 hours. I'm like, I miss my girl, and it's fundamental to me, and so I still get that same hitch in my steps from her.
Yeah.
That little heel clicking.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. 3 years later, I'm still thinking, wow, this is my girl, and I click my heels metaphorically.
What makes you click them?
I don't know. It's like her. So it's not like I can't ever have that kind of feeling of. Yeah, I can't have that heel clicking because I have it with her all the time. I'm excited when she walks in the room. I'm excited when I see her. I'm excited when I get to hang out with her. I'm excited when we go on a little trip together. Like, hey, that's cool. And before her, I'll say this. So who knows? I mean, there's a whole chapter called The Way of Love, which is a big, giant question, right, coming up. Before her, I mean, I saw girls. I had girls, say in the last, I don't know, however many years. But in the last 7, 8, 9, 10 years, something like that, I never had a girlfriend. somebody that's with me in my life. Not because I didn't want one, or I was this cool guy, I was being single, traveling, and not because, but there was also no need to artificially create that.
Yeah.
There was no need in that at all. It's just that the truth is this, before she came along, what qualities does she have? That's my next book, I guess, I'll write that, compared to other women. But before she came along, there was not a woman on this earth that I thought about when she wasn't around.
Wow.
And if I saw so-and-so from Montreal, and she showed up, I'd be delighted, excited, and jumping for joy, and like and embracing her, and this is fantastic. But when she's not around, I didn't think about it. You know, laying in bed and wishing for that girl of your dreams. I haven't had that for years. Strange, huh? So what's gone for me is the, wow. What's gone for me is the anguish, the fear of loss. Now, I could lose my girlfriend because of whatever, part ways or, you know, but I would never have, and I would be sad. I'd be fundamentally sad. You better believe it, I'd be sad for a long time. But I would also recognize that, the anguish of not, I don't know how to say it. Anguish wouldn't be there. Deep, profound sadness would be there, but I would think that was a magical thing, and if it ended, it had to end. Help me out here.
So
You guys say something.
Yeah.
So you're talking about loss. There would
Yeah.
not be that fear of loss.
Yeah, it would be more like,
Sorry, it's not correct.
I don't know how to describe it. It's like, it's, you know what it is? There'd be no neediness
Yeah.
in the loss.
Yeah.
Right.
I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have a neediness about it. I'd be sad, and I would miss it. You know, I think about her a lot.
Yeah.
But there's no neediness in that, or that my life is broken or destroyed, or I guess I don't know.
There'd be no despair, as it were.
Yeah, we're all semantically talking about different words.
And I think what you're saying is you'd miss her for her and all the beautiful moments you had, but you wouldn't miss her for your own personal reasons, like I need a girl in my life.
Perfect.
I'm lonely. Those
Yeah.
reasons.
And I'm never gonna get it again. And
Yeah.
And I get, you know, yeah, it's a good way of saying it.
things.
That makes sense, Jordan.
Yeah.
You asked the question.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think this is a good place for an end of episode.
Okay.
I've got another one lined up.
You do?
Yeah. Okay.